Free agency is supposed to be a game changer.
It was just unfortunate that it didn't work out for Neil, but he got a nice payday. Really nice payday.
From overpriced quarterbacks to washed-up stars who had no business inking multi-year deals, these are the 20 biggest free agent busts in NFL history, ranked from bad to worst. Number 20, Dallas Cowboys, Mike Vanderjagt, kicker. If you're paying a top kicker top-tier money, he better be ice-cold in the biggest moments. Not a guy that the head coach is terrified to even bring out for the easy kicks. But that's exactly what transpired as all the warning signs came true. Vanderjagt lasted 11 games, hitting just 72% of his kicks and had so little leg strength that Bill Parcells actively avoided sending him out for anything beyond 35 yards. Number 19, Houston Texans, Brock Osweiler, QB. In another classic case of a quarterback-starved team getting desperate, the Houston Texans shocked everyone when they offered Osweiler a 4-year, $72 million deal in 2016. Osweiler had looked serviceable filling in for Peyton Manning in Denver, but did that really warrant $72 million from the Texans? Well, spoiler alert, it did not. Houston bet on potential, but what they got was a guy who made bad reads, missed open receivers, and struggled to complete even basic throws. He was benched before the season ended, and the Texans had to bribe the Browns with a second-round pick just to take his contract off their hands. Number 18, Washington Redskins, Deion Sanders, CB. Fresh off a year of Super Bowl glory in Dallas, Deion landed in Washington on a contract that made him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. But after one season in, it was pretty dang clear that the passion wasn't the same, and thus the playmaking wasn't there. Deion just wasn't prime time anymore. He retired after one season with $8 million in the bank and Washington's front office looking dumbfounded. Number 17, San Diego Chargers, David Boston, WR. 1 year removed from a monster season in Arizona where the wide receiver went for nearly 100 catches and 1,598 yards and 8 touchdowns, the Chargers backed up the Brinks truck for Boston, despite him battling injuries the immediate year prior, only to realize that he was more interested in lifting weights and fighting with his coaches than actually playing football. After one season, the Chargers ate the loss and traded him away just to get rid of the headache. Number 16, Cleveland Browns, Andre Rison, WR. The Browns literally took out a loan to sign Andre Rison. That's how sure they were that he was going to be their number one receiver for the next half-decade. How did Rison pay them back after the fattest deal a wide receiver had gotten to date, being 5 years and $17 million?
Outside, right flat, listen to the boos. That means it's Andre Rison.
Well, he caught less than half of his targets and left the team the following offseason when their move to Baltimore was announced. Number 15, New York Jets, Neil O'Donnell, QB. Fresh off of a Super Bowl run with Pittsburgh, O'Donnell cashed in with the Jets. But, in typical Jets fashion, this one blew up in their face. O'Donnell played in just 6 games in his first year due to injury, and lost every single one of them. The Jets finished 1-15, the worst season in franchise history. By year 2, he was benched for Glenn Foley, as he and new head coach Bill Parcells never saw eye to eye. By year 3, he was out the door with nothing to show but an 8-12 record as a starter. Number 14, Oakland Raiders, Desmond Howard, WR/KR. Some players peak at just the right moment in order to secure the bag. Desmond Howard was that player. The Raiders went all in, bringing the former Heisman Trophy winner to town after he earned MVP honors in Super Bowl 31, making him the second consecutive Super Bowl MVP to get a fat deal from the Raiders. He played well as a return man, but couldn't come close to making the kind of impact that his contract warranted. They needed him to raise his level as a wide receiver. Despite the payday, Howard never delivered in that role. In 2 seasons, he failed to crack 30 receiving yards in a single year. By the end of his second season, it was clear that the Raiders had overpaid, and the two sides parted ways. Number 13, Cleveland Browns, Jeff Garcia, QB. The Browns thought that they were getting a proven leader when they signed Garcia to a 4-year, $25 million deal in 2004. He had been a 3-time Pro Bowler in San Francisco, had led the 49ers to multiple playoff appearances, and thrown for over 30 touchdowns in 2 out of his last 3 seasons. For a team that had been cycling through quarterbacks like a late-season sitcom goes through cast members, Garcia was supposed to be the guy to bring stability. But instead, Cleveland remained the NFL's Bermuda Triangle for quarterbacks. quarterbacks. The Browns cut him after just one season, only to have him revive his career somewhere else. Number 12, New York Jets, Le'Veon Bell, RB. Bell spent the entire 2018 season sitting out after failing to reach a long-term deal with the Steelers. He bet on himself, and the Jets rewarded him with a 4-year, $52.5 million contract. A huge investment for a running back in an era where the position was rapidly losing value. And right from day one, it was a disaster. His patience behind the line of scrimmage, once his biggest strength, turned into a liability behind a shaky Jets offensive line. And Adam Gase, the brilliant offensive mind the Jets hired, openly admitted that he never even wanted Bell on the roster, and in many ways, actively sabotaged the back. Bell made it just one season in 2 games before the Jets pulled the plug. Number 11, Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins, QB. Atlanta had been stuck at 7-10 for 3 straight years, and with Arthur Smith mercifully out the door, the Falcons needed a new direction. And so, they decided to roll the dice on a 35-year-old Kirk Cousins who was coming off an Achilles surgery. Cousins, unfortunately, did not look like the same guy as he did in his prime. The mobility was even more diminished, and he couldn't get comfortable in the pocket. By the end of the season, Cousins was benched for Michael Penix Jr., meaning the Falcons front office signed a backup quarterback to a $180 million deal with $100 million being guaranteed. That is absolutely insane. Number 10, Philadelphia Eagles, Nnamdi Asomugha, CB. At the time, the signing made all the sense in the world. Asomugha was coming off 3 Pro Bowl seasons in a row with the Raiders and was widely building a reputation as one of the best shutdown corners in all of football. The Eagles, fresh off a playoff appearance, thought that they were one superstar away from taking that next step. Unfortunately, as it turns out, it was a nightmare, not a dream. The Eagles went 12-20 in his 2 seasons. The dream team completely collapsed, and Asomugha became the symbol of it all. He was cut after 2 years, and just like that, his career was over, as he then set sail for Hollywood. Number 9, Houston Texans, Ahman Green, RB. Green was a 4-time Pro Bowler with Green Bay, a workhorse who racked up 5 1,000-yard seasons and was once among the best all-purpose backs in the NFL. But by the time he hit free agency in 2007, the wear and tear was catching up. Houston, however, saw a marquee name and gave him a 4-year, $23 million deal, who played 14 total games in 2 years, contributing 554 rushing yards and one of the worst dollar-to-production ratios of any free agent running back ever. Number 8, Washington Redskins, Adam Archuleta, safety. When Washington signed him to a 6-year, $30 million deal, he was supposed to be the next great hybrid safety, but unfortunately, he was just a woeful mismatch for their system, and he got shipped out of town in the middle of his first year with the team. Pretty dang rough. Number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars, Nick Foles, QB. The Jaguars, desperate for a franchise quarterback, threw $88 million at Nick Foles, who was fresh off of his Super Bowl MVP run with the Eagles. Foles broke his collarbone in the first quarter of the season, and by the time he returned in November, Gardner Minshew had already taken over the team, and Foles' play was just so bad that he was benched again after just 3 games, and unsurprisingly, didn't remain a Jag for much longer after that. Number 6, Washington Redskins, Albert Haynesworth, DT. Washington gave Haynesworth $100 million in 2009, the first 9-figure contract ever handed to a defensive player, and, well, he proved all the doubters right by refusing to play in Washington's defensive scheme, showing up out of shape, clashing with coaches, and openly quitting on the team. Put simply, Albert Haynesworth secured the bag and then checked out. He was benched in year 2 and then jettisoned out of town the following to the Patriots for a 5th-round pick. Number 5, Detroit Lions, Trey Flowers, DE. Matt Patricia, fresh off of his first season as head coach, was determined to recreate the Patriot way in Detroit. And what better way to do that than to pay $90 million for a player who had thrived under him in New England? Well, he was limited to just 7 games in each of his first 2 seasons and was released by year 3. Number 4, Los Angeles Chargers, J.C. Jackson, CB. Jackson signed a whopping 5-year, $82.5 million deal fresh off a career year with the New England Patriots. And the Chargers thought that they were getting an elite lockdown corner to build around. What they got instead was a guy who played 7 games in 2 years and looked completely unplayable before being traded back to New England for a 6th-round pick. Meanwhile, LA ate a nice cap hit in the process. Number 3, Seattle Seahawks, Franco Harris, RB. After a contract dispute with Pittsburgh, Harris signed a nice deal with the Seahawks in 1984 in hopes of finishing his career strong. Instead, he lasted just 8 games, rushing for just 170 yards before getting benched. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles, DeMarco Murray, RB. Some free agent signings don't just fail, they implode spectacularly. And it doesn't even have to be because the player is entirely washed up. Fresh off a historic 2014 season in Dallas, Murray hit free agency as the league's premier running back. Philly, their division rival, tried to swoop in, but Murray didn't fit into Chip Kelly's offense at all. Murray's frustration boiled over when reports surfaced that he went behind Kelly's back to owner Jeff Lurie, complaining about how he was being used, and he finished the season with a mere 702 yards. 1 year later, the Eagles dumped him onto the Titans for a mid-round pick. Adding insult to injury, Murray instantly rebounded in Tennessee. Number 1, New York Giants, Kenny Golladay, WR. The Giants, desperate for a number 1 receiver to revive their offense, handed Golladay $72 million to be their guy. Granted, he was just 1 year removed from back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but there were reasons that there weren't many other teams competing for his services. He was released after the 2022 season, having recorded just 43 catches for 602 yards and 1 touchdown. But hey, who do you think was the biggest free agent bust of all time? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're wrong about? Was there anyone notable that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.